Okay, what the hell is this?
Wah ha 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 ha!
Mongrel. You see I've crafted this perfect
Can you tell that I bought a controller? Hello everyone, I am Minidroit and I'm still not a platformer guy. A year ago I reviewed Ramona, and while it was a good game, I haven't played many major platformers since then. I just don't like them. I've always been into more grounded games like Resident Evil 2 and Earthbound. Games that focus more on storytelling and survival rather than movement. I think it comes down to the fact that I grew up playing Roblox, which actually has some pretty great physics. Roblox's movement is basic, yes, but they're perfect for what Roblox is. A game platform that lets you be anything and build anything. This is just Windows 8. What? Still, I'm always impressed when devs go out of their way to totally revamp and replace Roblox's physics engine. I'll give them their flowers for reworking Roblox's framework to fit their needs, even if sometimes you end up with a worse player experience. Too often do I see these Mario 64 concept games that, while they do capture the mechanics and quirks of Mario 64, they don't use it to its full potential. Now, there's nothing bad about Mario's movement, don't get me wrong, but many Roblox devs seem to focus too much on the movement and not enough on the environment, holding games back from what they can truly be. What's the point of great movement if there aren't any good maps to move through? I mean, there has to be a solid middle ground, right? Surely there's a game that improves Roblox's movement while bringing the wonder of real 3D platformers. Right? Well, it's definitely not this game.
Speak. Speak!
Super Checkpoint. This game is probably one of the most infamous platformers in Roblox's history. It was originally released in 2014 with only one path and 4 different game modes, and it was notorious back then for being a hard and unforgiving obby. In fact, it was so popular that Albert Stuff even recorded himself playing it, and that was my first introduction to the game. The original Super Checkpoint laid the groundwork for all the rage obbies that succeeded it, and its influence on the Roblox landscape cannot be understated. It was literally reviewed by Roblox themselves. How can you top that? Well, the original version of Super Checkpoint was actually executed by Roblox's personal firing squad because it had copyrighted music. But before that, the creator Magic277 decided to remake the game into its current incarnation, Super Checkpoint 2017. The 2017 version is like a reimagining of the original. It has 5 main paths, potions, in-game currency, a revised life system, pets, trails, new music, a slightly altered movement system, boss fights, random events, debuffs, and basically, it has... But that's enough history. Let's talk about Super Checkpoint's gameplay. Starting with the movement. You remember how I dedicated an entire intro to discussing video game movement? Yeah. Super Checkpoint actually uses a modified version of Roblox's default movement. Along with custom player animations, an integral part of Super Checkpoint's movement is running. Alright, I'll be honest. I usually never run in Super Checkpoint. When you run, your jump height is significantly reduced, and your platforming becomes inconsistent. I highly value the consistency of walking, especially with the game's need for pinpoint accuracy, so running is like deliberately making the game harder for yourself. But really, who cares about movement? Me, obviously. But good movement is nothing without good maps. And oh boy, does Super Checkpoint deliver. There are 5 main paths in Super Checkpoint, each have their own sub-routes and alternative paths, giving the game a unique longevity that most games on Roblox severely lack. Tell me, when was the last time you played any game from 2014? Probably not recently, but the sheer amount of content that Super Checkpoint packs is impressive, and the difficulty increases its shelf life too. This game is not easy. It's never been easy. Even if it's much more forgiving in its current state than it was originally, this game can kick your ass. Hell, as I'm writing the script, I haven't even beaten most of the game yet. So, for my own sanity, I'm gonna make this a 5-part series. 1 video for each path. And where else to start but the original, the classic path. This path is mostly a 1-to-1 copy of the original 2014 map, but there are a ton of quality of life improvements. Starting with health. Yeah, instead of dying instantly when you touch a kill brick, you have 3 stocks each life, and every time you take damage, they're buoyed to the same level you fell from. This lets you skip most of the hard parts of the game, and I think it's a great feature. Also, heart coins, or whatever they're called. Immediately, you're presented with the freedom of choice that Super Checkpoint excels at. You can choose between the shorter yet harder path, or the long, safe way. Now, if you're a thug like me, you never take the safe path, cause you ain't no bitch. But I like the fact that you can carve your own adventure. Now, the first few stages are pretty boring, so I'll just run through the many different orbs that are spread throughout the levels. These orbs are essentially boosts or mini platforms that help you traverse the stages. The most common orbs are the green jump orbs, which let you reach places that you usually can't on your own. There's actually a variation of these orbs that appears in the later stages, which lets you jump multiple times, which is pretty neat. The next most common orb is the red boost orb. It functions the exact same as a standard green orb, but if you touch it a second time, then you take damage. The second main category of orbs are platform orbs. Yep, they spawn platforms. The pink ones usually follow you while the orange ones stay static. Also, there's this blue one that slowly rises, but it's kind of lame. The duration and intensity of all the orbs can be augmented by the star orbs, which can make each orb up to 3 times stronger. The rest of the orbs are either really lame or not important enough for me to mention. But near the second stage of the path, there's a shrine honoring the game's devs. You can beckon them, but they almost always kill you. I wasted their time, huh? Not worthy enough to talk to them? Damn, first TC Tube, now this. Also, there are a ton of, gambling centers in each region. They usually vary from being 100% benevolent to... why? During my recording session, I managed to get a power-up that uncapped my health, so... yeah, he's not winning. Also, I found a lucky clover during my run. Apparently it has a 0.2 chance of being found, and a 100% chance of pushing people away. This brings me to the RNG element of the game. On some runs, you feel like you're king of the world, being so stacked that you're unstoppable. Yeah, I'm the best! And then other runs, they decide to make you colorblind in the color section. Why?
Imbecile, do the obby. I command you to do the obby!
I love watching you suffer.
Aren't you supposed to be dead?
I'll live third life. I'll be fine.
You know what's a great feature? Your character making the exact same noise every time he jumps. Oh cool, the path splits into 2. Let's see. Do you want to climb the awesome mountain or die in the ugly yellow desert? Well, this one has a gold heart, so... Minidroit? Minidroit, why'd you stop? I genuinely think that I was exceptionally lucky this run because I earned 3 extra bonus health from one of those gambling machines. Oh, Clover lost? A little late for that. Fine, I'll delete the obscure video. Honestly, most of the classic path's pretty boring. I get why they did turn on the game's mechanics because this is the game's introduction, but man, the most interesting mechanic I encountered during my runs was having to use multiple jump orbs to progress. As someone who knows how insane the future paths become, the classic path feels really tame. The hardest stage on this path was stage 22, and that was because I literally didn't know where to go. Come on. Whose idea was it to put black platforms on black walls and surround them by neon lights? This entire section's a visibility nightmare, and don't even get me started on a boss fight. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that every path ends with a boss fight. Anyway, this one sucks. This boss fight mostly consists of running in circles and hitting the guy's balls. For the first 10 hits, the boss does nothing to stop you, except for firing some of the slowest fireballs possible at you. And the fight only gets interesting when she gets down to 5 health, where the difficulty ramps up a ton. Still, this fight's too simple. Even during my first playthrough I thought it was rudimentary. Even though I had extra lives, this boss was a piece of cake, and I feel like I could definitely beat it without the extra health. It's just a pretty underwhelming fight. I think a better concept would be having lava beams appear along the player's path, and predicting their movements, giving the fight more challenge and engagement than it currently has. Essentially, copy Neon Knight's homework, because they know how to make a boss fight. Well, that was a paltry ending, but overall, I think that the classic path was a nice introduction. It's definitely the most iconic path in Super Checkpoint, but it's also the one with the least replayability. It's the only path I think that can outskill while playing the game. Its mechanics are too simple and predictable for it to be enjoyable to come back to. But as an introduction to the game, I think it's amazing. It really gets you pumped up for the rest of the game, and it's pretty short, so you can get right back into the action. I think it only took me about 30 minutes to beat this path, and that includes a few short breaks, and getting every crate I saw. So, if I had to rate the classic path, it'd be a solid 7. It's a great introduction to the game, and an amazing homage to the original, but it's not very interesting to replay and explore. Now, let's see how our host Minidroit's doing.
You know, maybe you should let him go.
Wahaha. Oh, did I give you permission to speak, mongrel? How dare you, a man who cheated life, question the king of heroes?
Look, I hit him as much as you did. But what are you gonna do when you get caught?
Ha 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 ha. Caught? Blasphemy. Who could catch me, the king of heroes?
Hello?
Holy shit, what the fuck?
When I need